Was enough. Now let's see. Yes? Can you hear me? Can you see me? That's all I need to know. Still no picture. The links are there, but there's no video. That's just so weird. That's 10:03. Huh. All right. I'm back now. Maybe you can see me, maybe you cannot. But just going to keep grinding. Oh, good, good, good. Hello, everybody. Hand ground coffee grinder. Back in the day, I used to travel with this thing so that if there was boiling water in the lobby of the hotel, I could have fresh ground coffee. And thank you for coming to have coffee with me this morning. I'm partnering with Coffee Labs Coffee Roasters down in Tarrytown, New York, and also with the Cafe Tio Conejo, which is down in Colombia. They're a farm, and you know, hi everybody. Hope you're doing good. It's a Sunday morning. if you can work, I hope you go to work tomorrow. We're all in this crazy time, and we don't seem to have much of a functioning government in the United States. But as a result of that, I can't go work. We had 4 jobs in this household, and now there's just one, which is this, intellectual property. But I'm lucky. I have you, and I want to just take a bit of your morning to think about, you know, the morning coffee that you drink. If you're lucky, like me, and you have some part of your income left, thank you. And you know, like me, I don't spend any money on cable television. I don't own a lot of stuff, so I'm actually doing fine, and I can get good coffee, and I can put oat milk in it, which I feel like that's a good signifier. Like, I can put oat milk in my coffee. I'm doing fine. Then think a little bit about where you get your coffee, and I especially want to reclaim an idea here. Like, I feel like they've told us that like buying craft coffee is some sort of, you know, yuppie luxury thing. But the fact of the matter is, depending on how you do it, you can actually be paying a good wage to people who do something that's really important to you. I love coffee. I thought when I was first going to do this live stream, I thought to myself, oh, it's not loud enough. Here, let me see. Is that any better? Can you hear me now? Do-do-do. Bumping up the sound a notch or two. All right, this should do it. Right. So now, oh yeah. Anyway, my point is this. When you buy really good coffee, and sometimes it might be a little bit more expensive, you might just be paying for some fancy-ass marketing, or you could look into it, just spend a few minutes of your time and find out if the growers and the farmers and the people who pick the beans are getting a good wage. Like, more and more, I feel like that's been a tool of sort of corporate interests to tell us, oh, no. You know, you fancy ass coffee, that's liberal, you know, yuppie BS. Is it really? Or are you paying someone who does something well a good wage? So, that's my soapbox for the morning. This is my method. Well, actually, this is no longer my method because I live in a household with another coffee fiend. And so we actually have like an automatic maker that just like grinds coffee and makes coffee for us so that it lures us out of bed to let the dog out. So I will be playing you just the songs of mine that happen to pertain to coffee. And I thought, well, that'll be a nice, you know, 3 or 4 song set. Turns out I have 8 songs that have direct references to coffee, or the word coffee in them. Good morning, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Good morning, Corrales, New Mexico. Oh, this is awesome. All right, so here we go. Let's start off, just off the bat, with light a fire, burn up all you know. You've had so much time to let things go. Now you're burning letters, or letters in the snow in your backyard. Years go rolling, you're 33. It's time for the cross, time for the Bodhi tree. Still you'd like to cry. Couldn't you just cry when you skin your knee, oh, ain't it hard? on New Year's Eve. The same snow falls on the same old leaves. There's the same old joy, same old earth, same old corduroy shirt. Storm windows and a broke-tailed squirrel and the grocery lists and the skateboard girls and all your rusty brain cells, they give it a twirl. Oh no, oh no. Kitchen radio, coffee on, I could use a month just to lean upon, but steady open road, I wants to get me gone off I go. It's the same old jar of car keys by the door. It's the same old scrubbed up floor, and it's the same old thirst for more till they put me in the dirt. It's the same old nights alone. It's the same old baby when you coming home to feel the same old joy, feel the same old hurt, same old corduroy shirt, same old corduroy shirt. All right, so this is the Tatama, the Cafe Tio Blend, out of Coffee Labs Roasters in Tarrytown, New York. Greg, my pal over there, was kind enough to send this to me. And the Cafe Tio Conejo is it's a farm down in Colombia, and you know, they roast coffee and they have a good operation. It's a family operation going down there. And they do tourism, like, hey, come and check out the work that we do. Obviously, that tourism has dried the hell up. And, you know, to be honest, I got to confess my ignorance. I don't know how well the government of Colombia is doing with the pandemic. They can't be doing that much worse than our federal government, which has done a terrible job. But even if you have a government doing a very good job, you're still probably in a tough spot. And so, again, like, think about where you get your coffee. If you love coffee and enjoy it, just find someone and learn about them, because God knows we all have a lot more time on our hands in our homes than we used to. And strike up a relationship and look after the people that provide you with this thing that you love. I don't know, pay them more, you know. The generosity you've shown me, show it in other directions. We're all going to have to look after each other now that our government isn't. All right, so this is it. The moment that I've been waiting for, and that is, oh, how did this go? Now, I prepped it with oat milk. Oh, holy Jesus. Oh, yeah. Ah, God. Oof. Ha, ta, 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 ta. Man, that's good. Oh, that's good. Here's a song from my latest record. Right now, a friend of mine is sleeping on an island in the Sound. Another friend is sleeping by a wood stove up inside the hills. I'm in a city in the lowline, I got coffee in the maker, and I pick up my guitar, let the whole day do what it will. Well, just about the moment that you figure out it's all going way too fast, making you should stop and take a look around and see if you would tell it, go and tell him.
spring day, pretty girls with the long hair, the pigeons in the town square, the fair green hills, blue sky above you, get the longing for a little cabin nestled down below. Oh, but I left town on a fool's errand a long time ago. Everything and thinking about the baby that you used to be in an old photograph. It's such a long goodbye to everything you thought you had to be, and when you can't cry, some fool will tell you that you gotta laugh. Well, when the moment comes, step it up and learn to sing a brand new tune, secret heart going through. You got to find your way back to the place that you remember and it's burning like a fire. Called Fool's Errand. Someone commented that when I drank the coffee, I went, oh, ta 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 ta. That's actually a language that I've acquired in the last month. My partner and I got a dog, a beautiful 3-year-old rescue out of Georgia, named Mabel. Wonderful, stout, portly, full of love, sweet, goofy dog who spends a lot of time on her back. Just and I've developed this language to talk to her, and it occurs to me, I've never had a dog. I went 51-ish years without getting a dog, but I got a dog, and we're kind of the same creature. Like, we love treats out of our little metal vessels. We like pets and treats. That's our whole deal. Right, more coffee songs. Here, I wrote the list down. I thought this would be a short set, but I decided I wanted to play all the songs that involve coffee. So here we go. Here's another one. This is called DIA. This is the first tune on the record, Are You Listening, that was produced by Ani DeFranco. Good friend of mine mastered all my records for, God, a decade or so. Ian Kennedy. And he died now 2 years ago. And this was the last record that he mastered. Last record of mine that he mastered. I remember I sent it to him, and we were not close, but we knew each other for 20 years, 25 years. And we would have occasion to have a bunch of phone conversations while he was mastering records. And I still remember I sent him this, and he emailed back, I dig it. Lots of Lydian mode, songs about coffee. There are 3 coffee songs on Are You Listening? I wrote this song with Megan Burt, Denver, Colorado songwriter. And I remember I was at Gregory Alan Isaacoff's farm. I forget myself. Do me the favor and do Cafe Tio Conejo the favor of sharing this. And maybe even and find like a Coffee Growers Association of America share it on their page too. Share this, just if you're watching on Facebook, click share and be like, hey, I'm having coffee with this songwriter and we're talking about coffee. So anyway, I was at Gregory Alan Isaacoff's farm in Gun Barrel, Colorado. And I woke up in one of the outbuildings that has a sheep pen next to it. And the only objects in the room were a banjo and a manual typewriter and a kettle for boiling water. So I got out my hand grinder and ground up some beans and got out my mug and made myself some coffee. I don't remember if I was traveling with filters or not. I may have just, like done the thing of making it with the coffee grounds in the bottom the way they do in Turkey. Anyway, this song just came tumbling out, and I had to go pick up Megan Bird at the airport. That's what I remember. And she helped me finish the bridge here. Oh, Gregory, he made us breakfast. And now I'm rolling down to DIA. I headed to leave his welcome table. Have a dozen bright souls just starting their day. Greg fixed us eggs, we all drank coffee, and talked about all sorts of different stuff. I did some dishes so I could linger, but there's never time enough. I thank you kindly for telling me to take Pena Boulevard. Oh, but my heart, it lingers back there in the house with the typewriters and the chickens in the yard. When you write a poem on a typewriter, it is kind of hard not to use parentheses. Get off my ass, tailgating, mister, broke my spell with your SUV. Hold me, touch me, feed me. That's what my phone always says it needs me. But I don't need you, phone. That was called DIA. Oh, crap. I'm going to have to look up the lyrics to that one. Oh, my God. So here's a tune. I'd forgotten this, and no one came up with it, but I went and I looked over my discography, and I have a lot of records, so let's see if someone
Lyrics, Peter Mulvey. Street, Stroll. Oh, I hope someone put this. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, 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 dot. Yep. So this is called the Brady Street Stroll. And I wrote this tune with the great Paul Seabar of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And it's got coffee in the lyrics. And we wrote this tune because we're American songwriters. And, you know, there's the Beale Street Blues and the Basin Street Stomp. And, you know, there's lots and lots of X Street Y formulations in the canon of American songwriting. And so we wrote this tune for our hometown, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Brady Street in summer, strolling the vine. All them dapper couples in their summer get-up, looking so fine. So fine. Meet me down at Rochambeau. Drink your coffee, I'll drink my wine. Firemen on the front stoop watch the ladies go by. Up above the branches, there's a thundercloud way up in the sky. In the sky. But no one's in a hurry. It'll be here by and by. It's not afternoon on Frenchman Street, not 2 a.m. on Bleecker. God knows it's not the Champs-Elysees. But airs that you don't put on are airs that never get in your way. Because hi-hat's just a bar here, it ain't no big thing. You can stroll from Gloriosos down to the Nomad, hear them pigeon birds sing. The illustrious Milwaukee pigeon bird sings. Let us tip into Ace Hardware, pick yourself out some duct tape. Honey, I'll spring. There is Gosu Punky Lowlife at the Oakland End, dear. Oh, but over by Van Buren Street, oh, Baldoni echoes hang in the air. Those echoes hang in the air. This is Brady Street in summer. Baby, you ain't just anywhere. Oh man, I haven't thought of that song in forever. Rochambeau is gone. That was a coffee and tea shop in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's gone now. What else is in there? Baldoni, Ivo Baldoni. Was an accordion repairman, mid-20th century Milwaukee accordion repairman, Evo. And yeah, his son was a guitar repairman, so that's how I met him. His son worked on my guitar. And it's worth mentioning that Milwaukee, when just just before I was born, so mid-century Milwaukee, there were 2 a.m. polka radio stations, all polka, all the time. Lyrics, Peter Mulvey. Okay. I had to look up the lyrics to some of my songs. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Oh, my good coffee treats. Coffee treats. Love my coffee treats. I could be wrong about it. Maybe it's still there, but I swear I think Rochambeau's gone. Somebody Google search for Rochambeau. Think about how easy it is to look things up these days. And then, because we're all living in this moment, I just heard a black activist say, I can't believe it that my white friends come to me and they say, what can I do about race in the United States of America when there's Google? Oh, the times we live in. I know that we are currently, we're talking about everything all the time now, and we should be. It was Eleanor Roosevelt who said, it's obvious by now that we are going to have to learn to live together, and if we are going to have to learn to live together, then we are going to have to talk. So, for example, if anyone's watching in another country, in my country right now, the wildfire season is beginning early because of the ongoing drought in California. And so wildfires have already begun in Vacaville and etc. And we're in a bit of a bind because most of the, quite a significant number of the wildfire fighting, the forest fire fighting crews in California are down with COVID-19. And the reason they are down with COVID-19 is because they live in prisons, because they are prisoners, because in California, a liberal democratic state run by largely white liberals, much of the firefighting is done by prison labor, which is paid cents on the dollar, essentially modern-day slave labor. Did you know that? I didn't know that. And so California is going to get its ass handed to it by this year's fire season because we are dumb enough to use 16th century methods to do something as important as keeping our houses and families safe. We need to change, and we need to change quickly. Here's a song that I wrote on the prompting of my friend Robin Hoffman, who's watching right now. This is a fan favorite, and it's a favorite of mine. It took me 7 years to write this song. The last line first, and then I wrote the rest of it with Robin's prompt and with my friend JT Nero. The other morning over coffee, you told me that lately you've been looking in the mirror and smiling back at a fellow soldier who is fighting the good fight against the big, sad, empty inside. And that may not be happiness, but it is as close as someone like you gets. And I believe you. Because I've listened to all of your bullshit theories about how you're gonna get it together. Every one of them involves some future turning point where you turned into a completely different person. But the other morning over coffee, all that you were talking about was dealing with the person you are probably always going to be. Isn't that something? And I said,
you remember that time when we were both drunk off our ass and we're talking about how we had lived lives so full of poetry and adventure that if we died right then and there, it would have been fine. And it would have been fine, only we didn't die. And we woke up so hungover it felt like little fuzzy creatures had crawled into our mouths and died. Oh, and then there was your grand idea about how all of her imperfections were perfect for you because they shoved you off your spot and they forced you to grow and to change as a human being. And the next night you said, I cannot live for one more minute under the roof with this crazy, self-destructive, chaotic killjoy. Well, geez Louise, I mean... You've always taken pains to say thank you for listening to these sad sack stories, and at this point in our friendship I believe that I can honestly say you're welcome. I'm a pretty good listener. I get it from my mother. But there's one thing that has always bothered me about this friendship. One thing that right now I owe it to you to say. Oh, my love, under the sky above, you're just like me, and me, and I'm just like you, and I'm just like you. I'm only swimming upstream, swimming upstream, swimming upstream, just like you, for the life of me. We're both just swimming upstream, swimming upstream, swimming upstream, just like you, for the life of me, for the life of me, for the life of me. Thank you. Damn. You know, on the recording, speaking of coffee, on the recording of that record, on the record, Are You Listening? I couldn't hit those falsettos at all. My voice was going through some problems, and so on the record, when we hit that part, when I go swimming upstream, I couldn't hit that note, and so there was just air. It was bad news, and so Ani came in and overlaid her voice and sort of took that part off my plate and onto hers, which was very kind of her. And then I went and got myself scoped and figured out that I had, you know, I'm getting older and I use my voice quite poorly, unskillfully. I don't warm up, and so I had to start warming up and everything. But the other thing is that I'd been drinking tons of coffee when we woke up in the morning, and tons of coffee, and then going into the studio, and that can dry out your throat. So when I'm going to be doing a show now, I warm up, but I also put maple syrup in my coffee. And I'm married to a Vermonter, so I'm allowed to do that. I don't like sweet coffee typically, but what you going to do? Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3. 3 more songs that are written by Peter Mulvey that have coffee in them. Snow is coming down blast the light by it. This song could be the last song. If I could tell you something, I would tell you something that you never heard before. I swear if I could tell you something, I would tell you something that you never heard before. If I could tell you something, I would tell you something. The stars are shining up from a puddle in the schoolyard. A puddle in the schoolyard. This song could be the last song. Coffee in the maker on the counter by the window. Coffee in the maker on the counter by the window. This song could be the last song. Oh my God, I just did the thing. I was like, all right, everybody who's playing along, all right, drummer guy, okay, all right, bassist guy and accompanist, we're going to end this. Like, what? I'm playing solo until the foreseeable future. You know, I'm working on a gig. Oh, thank you, Robin. You know, I'm working on a gig with a promoter in the suburban Boston, and the idea is a drive-in gig. And he was like, let's just do $75 a car, and then people can, you know, sort of pile into the cars. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. And then I was like, no. I called him back, my agent and my manager, and I called him back, and we were like, we can't do that. Like, first of all, there are people who are isolating alone in their house, and what, we're going to make one person pay $75, and two, if we do it that way, we put that person in the position of being like, well, I'll round up two friends, and I hope they've been isolating and social distancing and being as careful as I can. I was like, no, all right, we got to think this through. We got to, like, we have to do it by the person. And like, I think about how hard, like, I'm working hard, and I'm sacrificing. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but we're sacrificing for everybody's common good. And then while we were doing this, the people with the resources were supposed to get their act together and get contact tracing and testing up. Like, I can't run tests. I don't know what to do with the swab. I don't have a lab, you know. And it's so frustrating to me the way that our government has failed us, and I really think we have to throw these people out on their ears. And you know, Biden to me at this point is just a wall that's
30 feet further down the road that we're all trying to just push that wall down and get somewhere collectively. And, I'm going to vote for him, absolutely, because I'd rather be pushing on that wall. Good God, people. All right, here's another tune that I wrote with Paul Seabar. This is called What's Keeping Erica? And let's see. So I wrote this with Paul Seabar, and if you have the version that's on my record, Letters from a Flying Machine, coffee is not mentioned in the song. But this is where you should go and buy his spectacular record, One Little Light Left. And he did all 4 of the verses that we wrote, so I'm going to do them right now. This is called What's Keeping Erica. By the way, my friend Mike Peel said, coffee is for the weak. He texted me just now and said, coffee is for the weak. Right, whatevs. What's keeping Erica aloft and enlivening our little lives? What's keeping Erica far from the to and the fro? Because here in this cold shoulder town, we're all down and we're tense in the teeth of the storm. What's keeping Erica? What's keeping Erica warm? What's keeping Erica serene like a ship on a harbor? What's keeping Erica far from the fray and the row? When even the rivers are riled up and tough guys will quail like a poor orphaned waif. What's keeping Erica? What's keeping Erica safe? That's why I stand just as close as I can with my hands out. Maybe by seeing how she's been, I'll find out what's keeping Erica. Something, something, something out of the raging flood waters. What's keeping Erica above all the gutter snipes' swill? Opprobrium sinks one and all to a royal, and there's jackals left minding the store. What's keeping Erica boggles the mind all the more. That's why I stand just as close as I can with my hands out. Maybe by seeing how she's being, I'll find out what's keeping Erica. They just brought my 4th cup of coffee. What's keeping Erica? Nerves can get jangled round here. I count packets of sugar, rain rattles the windows, and in here I'm starting to see what's keeping Erica, keeping a fellow like me. All right, well, thank you so much. I'm going to sing one more tune with the word coffee in it. Again, I am singing today for myself and for Cafe Tio Conejo. This is, I'm on the Coffee Labs Roasters Facebook page. So if you would do me a favor and, go like the Coffee Labs Roasters Facebook page. Just go like them and check them out. They're in Tarrytown, New York, and they are, among other things, they get beans that are roasted at Cafe Tio Conejo down in Bolivia. And you also go like the Cafe Tio Conejo Facebook page. Coffee, and it's mostly in my belly right now. And it's making me happy. And I want to thank you all. Hang in there, wash your hands, stay safe.
And this is a tune called Charlie that I wrote, again with Paul Seabar. I had to write with Paul Seabar more because I think he co-wrote 3 of the 8 songs that have coffee in them. Thank you all for being here. By the way, one other thing, I started a Patreon where I have a podcast. It's got that little bear logo. It's called Life as a Circus Bear. Peter Mulvey, Life as a Circus Bear. And I had been doing it only through my Patreon page, which you can find on my webpage. But I think I'm just going to sort of put it out there into the podcast ecosystem so that people can just call it up and listen to it. But if you really feel like supporting me that way, you can go to petermulvey.com and look at that little bear. All right, and thank you so much. This is a song called Charlie, and the bass line was written by the great Lou Ulrich. Tuesday morning, blue clay coffee cup. Mr. Charlie, a big sound, it fill you up. So if a Monday laid you low, so what? What's the weatherman say? Charlie, tell me, will there be weather today, Charlie? Country boy and Lady Baltimore, all that we washed up here on this foreign shore, playing Texas Hold'em on hotel room floor. Draw me one more bucket of foam, Charlie. Lives of the little horses, tails, Jim Casey's tail. I swim two birds, oh, I've been on the play. Well, I foot the old pump sends the headache drill. Window, what's the weatherman say, Charlie? Tell me, will there be weather today, Charlie? Ooh, what is it shakes of this jangle figure of bones, Charlie? Ooh, set sail on this grand old bucket of foam, Charlie. Thank you all so much. Thank you for tuning in, and check this out. I wanna share one last thing with you. All right, and that is a little YouTube video called Coffee, the Greatest Addiction Ever. I'm gonna share it over here in the comments, and I would suggest this. There.
So, thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you, if you are having coffee, I hope it's being good to you. Mine's being very good to me. Be good to each other. Thanks again to Coffee Labs Roasters and Cafe Tio Conejo. You all take care, and I will see you somewhere down the line, and hopefully one of these days I'll see you out in the open air.